Today, I want to encourage you to turn to the letter of James, a wonderful, practical book in the New Testament. And James begins right after a single verse of greeting. James chapter 1, verses 2 through 16 are about trials and tests and temptation. So you can read all 14 of those verses if you wish, but the focus is on verses 12 to 16, and our verse for the day is, "Blessed is anyone who endures temptation. Such a one has stood the test and will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." And then James goes on to say how no one when tempted should say, "I am being tempted by God," because James says the temptation, God doesn't tempt anyone, but we're tempted by our own desire. And I think this is self-evidently true. I often will use the example with people of, you could put every alcoholic beverage known to man on a table in front of me, and I really couldn't care less. You could put every illicit drug known to humanity in front of me, and I couldn't care less, and I wouldn't be tempted to try any of them. Why? Because there's nothing within me for those things to appeal to. Now, you could put warm cookies or warmly baked bread right out of the oven. That would be a temptation for me because there is something in me that is drawn to those, and I have to watch that I don't eat too much of them. And for somebody else, warm cookies and bread might leave them totally cold and not appeal to them at all, because their places where they're tempted are different. So what those things are for all of us are different. There are some areas that are, if not universal, they affect a significant percentage of the population that struggles with temptation in certain areas. Obviously, sex is one of them, because it leads to all kinds of situations that people get into that are not healthy or helpful or biblical. But temptation doesn't come from God. It comes from within. That's a fundamental point of James. But James also makes the point that there's a blessing in enduring temptation. There's a blessing to the one who has stood the test. And really, if you think about it, in areas where we may be challenged in terms of living a holy life, living a godly life, every time we're able to withstand temptation, every time we pass a test, if you will, it builds a muscle of obedience. And just like going to the gym, the more regularly you go to the gym or you work out and you're building your physical strength or you're building your aerobic capacity, right? The more you do it, the stronger you get. And in the same way, you use it or you lose it is also true of many things in life. And that's also true of obedience. The more we practice faithfulness, obedience, the more test and temptation that we overcome, that we resist, the stronger and in fact then the easier it becomes to resist it the next time.